Welcome. I'm Diane Crampton, North America's leading authority on team culture. I help leaders and executives connect their employees to their core values and team process using my proprietary Tigers model, which stands for trust, interdependence, genuineness, empathy, risk, and success. One of the questions that subscribers to our monthly newsletter have asked is how to improve communication on teams. And even though this is a very detailed topic that we cover in our teleseminars, I have 3 tips for you today. The first is to include the right people on your team from the very start and understand their unique thinking style and communication style and match your communication to theirs. Now, some of your team members might be quiet and hardworking. Others might be quite talkative. And quite frankly, you might have a few that are there just for the paycheck. And it's this latter group that is the hardest to deal with because it requires that you provide very clear, concise, and consistent communication about your goals and that you're giving clear performance feedback. So one way to do this is to hold a weekly update right at the beginning of the week to focus your team on the most profitable goals to accomplish that week so that team members know how what they do can feed into and support your team. Tip number 2. Learn about your team members' unique talents and deploy them as soon as possible. Now, these might be talents that they have not been hired for, but let me give you an example of this. Suppose you know that within your project you'll have to deliver very detailed and accurate reports. And suppose that you find out that you have one team member who finds a lot of joy in finding misspelled words in books and in newspapers. This is an ideal skill for the pre-read of your report before it's ever delivered. And when you do this, when you discover these unique skills and talents, you build your team's cohesiveness, and it builds appreciation for the very unique skills and talents that your team members bring to your effort. Tip number 3, and this follows on the heels of tip number 2, and that is to make your team feel needed and their work meaningful. So one way to do this is to make sure that your team leads are readily accessible to answer questions and to remove obstacles immediately. You should make it a prohibitive practice that team members need to wade through reams of email in order to find answers to their questions. It's a huge, huge time waster. And then when you find an obstacle, confront it immediately and remove it as soon as possible. This gives you the opportunity to celebrate your team's milestones. It closes the goal gap, and it gives meaning and real respect to the work that your team provides. Now, if you would like to know when we hold much more detailed teleconferences on this topic, we're going to have to know how to get in contact with you. And it's important for you to know that I hate spam as much as you do, and my company does not share or sell any of our subscriber contact information. Thanks for tuning in.